Oh, good morning, gorgeous. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing really well today. I am. I'm doing well. I was feeling the springtime, so I was like, let me bring it in. Obviously, you got the same memo.
We had the same vibe. I don't know what it's like outside, but inside my house, it is sunshiny. There's not no clouds inside. It's not cloudy with a chance of me falls. It's gorgeous.
Well, over here, definitely not because I'm in a cave, which you already know.
But how can you not want to it's like when the sun even shines just a little bit, like want to put on your little flip-flops, paint your toenails, put on a nice summery outfit, nice textures.
Well, you're absolutely right, except when you don't feel that way.
Mm,
Which is what we're going to be talking about today because there's so many women in midlife time frame that they kind of want to do that. They do as the seasons change, or they do when they have something important to go to an event, and then they look at the shape of their body and it has reshaped the shape of their mind or reconfigured the shape of their mind, and all of a sudden they don't feel that way. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So we're not going to make anyone cry out there, but there's definitely some tears going on sometimes when it comes to our bodies. And so we're going to talk about it today. You game, Morgan?
absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
Enjoy.
And I got to tell you, I'm vibing on this khaki green. Is that a
It's
dress?
cute. It's adorable. It's like a little, let me show you. It's
I
like
love
this
it.
little dressy.
Oh, it's cute. Oh, over leggings. Yeah.
So,
This
okay.
little segment, you just kind of went on that tangent. I think it's going to resonate with so many women who are right now battling with body image, especially as we kind of get into spring. And we are going to do a podcast episode about this, but um, talk to me about how, like, body image, when you have like what many people would consider the perfect body, um, how has this affected you?
Well, I didn't realize what a mental issue it was. And I didn't realize how much it was impacting my everyday life until like you and some other people had made comments to me about it, right? And and I think growing up in a Caucasian community, like I had not I think I know. So like growing up in a Caucasian community, and I was like one of the only like brown skinned girls, right? And so we are genetically built differently.
Yeah.
Like, I had hips, I had thighs, I had a rear end, like, and all these little girls were like,
Yeah.
so I always felt overweight my whole life. I always felt so big my whole life. And I was,
And were you, when you look back, were you?
no,
No.
no. Dude, even when I was looking back at some pictures that popped up on my phone the other day of us back in 2016, when we went back home to the Big Island for Tute Leilani's funeral, I thought I was huge. I thought it was huge, but it was also his comments in the back of my head about why aren't you working out? Why aren't you wearing this? You can't wear that. You're going to wear that. You're really wearing, comments like that that messed with my head so much. And then I looked back and I was like, dude, I was ripped. I had definition in my arms, my thighs, my calves were crack-a-lack. And let me tell you what, but in that moment in time, I didn't feel that. I
Yeah.
didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel that. So then I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at everybody around, and I'm looking at the younger girls these days too, and they feel like they have to be anorexic skinny in
Yeah.
order to be beautiful. And then it made me stop and pause for a minute because I'm like, what am I presenting to my daughters? What am I teaching my daughters? If I'm not confident with myself, and if I'm speaking badly about myself or my self-talk and they're overhearing that, then are they going to have issues with their weight? Are they going to have eating disorders? Are they going to have anxiety around, taking care of themselves and what they look like? So it's just a matter of realizing like beauty comes in all shapes and forms,
Yeah.
right? And just getting to a moment where I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, and you hear me constantly because I'm struggling right now, dude. I am struggling hard because I go in my closet and like nothing fits. And so like I know I'm not unhealthy, but
Yeah.
I'm not crazy skinny and anorexic skinny because I'm not in fight or flight.
That's right.
Right. So because of all those years of being on the run and being in fight or flight, I was stupid sick skinny, stupid
Yeah.
sick, because my body was shutting down because it just wanted to survive. So like I didn't eat, I didn't drink, I
But
didn't
the
do
thing is, you weren't hungry. And I
yeah.
think, I just finished reading a book that's talking about all the weight loss drugs and talking about all that stuff like that. And it's so interesting because I've talked to you. I mean, I've been the opposite. I was heavy and I truly was heavy. But even when I lost, I remember, I think I was a senior in high school, I lost like 60 pounds through diet pills and not eating, like all the unhealthy things. And I had to hide all that from my family and stuff because you
Mhm.
don't want to tell them that, I'm confident, straight A student, like perfectionist, but my body was taking a toll on for all that. And so I still wasn't happy. I remember my mom and dad made me my graduation dress. It was a little off the shoulder dress, had this white collar. My dad made it. It was this all the colors you love, blues and purples and rich greens. And then it had like a um, fluorescent chartreuse yellow running through it. It was an abstract floral pattern. And it was, and it had the little collar, but it was off the shoulder and was real fitted in the waist. And I love that dress. Like it was the best. But all day I felt so uncomfortable. I just lost 60 pounds the whole year. Like I did not eat my senior year. I had lived with a headache. I was on stupid diet pills that would kill you.
Mhm.
And it was just so obnoxious because what would happen? You look amazing. Girl, I know you're killing it. What are you doing? I'm killing myself for real.
Yeah.
And so you get all these compliments. So I'm going to just tell you this. If you, and I'm sorry in advance, but I want our viewers to hear this because as moms, we really carry this huge responsibility. And I'm not going to say I did it right because I'd be lying. I am not going to say I did it right because I'd be lying. I thought I was doing it better than my mom did it, but I did it wrong in my own way as well.
Mhm.
Um, the only thing you can do once you realize it, you can't undo it. Yes, you messed them up. I mean, we did like it's almost impossible not to because even if you didn't, somebody else did. And if you didn't catch it, it
Yeah.
still ends up being something you didn't catch. But what I can say is you can say from this day forward, I'm going to do X.
Mhm.
And sometimes I think like what you were saying about your closet, it's the things we say about our closet. It's the things we say. So like y'all, now what just happened? We were trying to get dressed. We were like, okay, what are we wearing for the pod today? Because sometimes, we're taping multiple things at a time. And I pulled this shirt out. And the first thing I said was, girl, I haven't worn this in a while. I don't even know if it fits. Like that's not a mentality the child has. A child, think about it. When them kids were small and they would go in the closet, something they love, and that thing was about 4 years too small. But what was in their mind?
That they love it.
That they
They
loved it.
like it. It makes them happy to wear it.
And they didn't even realize that it didn't fit. Now, I'm not saying send your child to school or your teenager or your young adult, send them out in the work world with some clothes that absolutely don't fit them. Don't do that. But also, if you have a girl, which what happens when the girls they
Mhm.
start to become tweens, the body just does something overnight. The body gets thick overnight and it will catch up if we do not judge it. And like don't judge it. When my daughter was going through that little thick stage, and now she's a tall, statuesque, gorgeously ridiculous brown skin beauty. Period. I'm sorry, I am biased, but it's all true, right? But what I did for both of my children, because my son went through a little thick stage as well, and now he was putting on the weight that he needed to grow super tall,
Yes.
and I'm sure your boys did too.
Yes.
We just went shopping a lot. We went
See,
to the thrift. We went shop. We did what we had to do because I was not going to have them wearing clothes or saying, "Suck it in, put on a girdle." No.
mm. Even my son, he came up to me and he was making some comment to me a minute ago, and I was like, "You realize I gave birth to 4 kids, right?" Because I walked downstairs, he's like, "Look at you." He's like, "You're looking a little thick this morning, Mom." I said, "Boy, I gave birth to 4 kids." I said, "I
Now that
was
would be with his teeth, each tooth, and he'd be trying to eat oatmeal with no teeth. Tell him it hurts your tongue. Hot oatmeal with no teeth to break up the heat. Tell him that's when he would have one. He would have a snaggle to one left. Just one tooth. Is this one? It's one left.
So then after I said that, he's like, Mom, you're right. He goes, I forget you've had 4 kids. I was like, dude, I earned this. And then I remembered that moment that you told me. You're like, you go, honey, they make more than one size. And I was like,
That day. Yeah.
even saying that again, like takes me back to that moment because we get stuck in this mentality. I should look like I looked when I was 18, when I was in my 20s. You're not 18. You're not in your 20s. What makes you think that you can live your life and go back in time to be that specific size? Holding on to a pair of jeans that you wore back then. Dude, no, your body did not, your body went through so many things. You gave birth. You grew up. You're not a teenager anymore. Like
And what about the fact that sometimes you didn't give birth?
thank you.
Sometimes, let's talk about it. Sometimes it's not about giving birth. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's about healing.
Mm.
There's a woman named, oh goodness, she has a book called How We Heal. I'll put it in the comments. Such an incredible book. And it's about healing through journaling, with or without a therapist, with or without a therapist. She does talk about her therapist, and she lives right here in Baltimore. If I ever can get her on the pod, girl, I'm going to be like this. I'm such a fan girl. She's so good. So I listened to her book, then I bought her book, but it's she's got that voice, very soothing, but I've watched her transition. She talks about weight. She talks about the transition. I watch her on TikTok. She used to be thicker. Now she's a lot smaller. I don't know why or how, or if it's part of the healing process, because sometimes the healing process, your weight titrates up and sometimes down. So I had a really good girlfriend who married, badly. Let's put it that way. She married badly. When they were engaged, I remember thinking, I could see that it was not the best match at all. But they loved each other, but it was not a good match. It was just not a good match. And so what ended up happening was, in the course of, I think we were together about 3 years, and he cheated and did a lot of things. But bottom line is, she must have gained a person during that time. She gained about 80 pounds, right? And when I tell you that he left her, he got remarried, all the things, and he left her in a nasty way, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was like she literally became the person she never was. Mm-hmm. She lived in the gym. She started traveling all over the world. And when I finally caught up with her, I was like, you know what? She's like, yeah, Chatone, I lost all the weight. I said, no, baby, the weight was the person. Mm-hmm. You were carrying around a person. And sometimes it's not a spouse. We do not advocate divorce, but he did cheat. But the thing about it is, sometimes we're carrying around people. Sometimes we're carrying around jobs that are weighing us down. Sometimes we're carrying around relationships that are weighing us down, friendships that are heavy on us. And sometimes it's the old stuff.
Well, you remember back in November when I came out to see you and I had that massive session with our mentor, and I lost like inches and pounds over
days, a couple of days. Yeah.
It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So
I think it does come down to when you admit things and say, I want to let these go, which is totally different than taking a shot. A shot can only work as long as a shot works. And I'm not against anything people do. You choose what to do with your own body, but I do think that there's something that's going on with our kids, and there's something that's going on specifically with women in midlife, trying to reach back for something that they feel I missed, or they reach back to be someone they used to be, and they're doing it through, all these different means. What happens is, still inside, there's still like this little nagging, I don't really like myself. It's still in there. I'm not really sure she's who I want her to be. And it doesn't help her. It just doesn't help her. And I know, for looking at you, I'm sure if your girlfriends are like, what's the matter with you? Because we look at you in clothes, without clothes, like you have a gorgeous physique. You know what I'm saying? You're very strong. You're very muscular, and like strong, like you lift stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be a different body than someone who's, say, super skinny, or someone who's super soft. That isn't your body type. I'll never forget that, Shay Cunningham, who we both know as a stylist, talks about, as opposed to weight or body type, because people like to put a type. Is it an apple? Is it a pear? Like, why are we being compared to fruit? Now, I don't understand. I thought fruit changes your body based on how much you eat, but I didn't know that we were supposed to be compared to fruit. I'm just saying. I understand, but like for real now. My dad used to use letters because he was a tailor, and so he used letters. He does a person have an S shape? I'm like, that is so rude. Like, it's like, he's like, top and bottom. Daddy, I didn't like that, right? Shout out to Daddy. But the thing about it is that she used the phrase body composition.
Hmm.
I loved it.
That's
Because it
beautiful.
took all the emotion out of it. It took all the judgment out of it. Just composition. And sometimes you can change composition and sometimes you can't. So you work with what you have and feel beautiful as you are. With our girls, we don't model that for our girls. They can't mirror it.
Mm.
And yes, I'm all about health. I really am. My kids are like, you're such a nag. I'm like, why are you eating that? But I realize even that, even though my thing really is about health, my son is thin, but he eats too much junk. And it worries me because of the health that I know that I cannot pass on to him because I don't have it. It's
Mm.
not in my DNA to pass to him. The stuff I have, the stuff my husband has to pass to him, it's not great stuff. And I want him to have the best life he can. But I realize that at his age, it really isn't my role to put food in his mouth or to take food out. And so there'll be days where I see him like working out really hard, or I'll see him like all of a sudden he eats salad for a couple of days. He himself is like trying to balance it off. I'm like, it's like,
It's hard.
it's not easy at all. But let me ask you, Morgan, how are you being the fact that with all that you went through and with your body now, with your mind going to a place where it's like, okay, we can relax now. And relaxing, part of that is eating and drinking.
Mm.
It's also movement, but it's eating and drinking in a way that you feel nourished. And when all you're doing is nourishing the people around you, you don't have the time and space or maybe even the desire for that. So how's it going now?
I have been setting aside like just a couple extra minutes in the morning just to, okay, so this is going to sound silly, but I used to do this back in the day, and I used to do calf raises while I was brushing my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And so just that couple of minutes while I'm brushing my teeth, it does something for your body, right? So by doing that, I'm already seeing a difference. So that's mentally doing something for myself. Taking time to just sit and be still in the morning before I start being active, that's really, really helping. I am realizing how important it is to not assign my value to what I look like, which is really, really a struggle. Learning that my body being healthy is looks completely different than not being healthy. Me being in fight or flight and being crazy skinny, and me being the healthy version of me is gonna look different.
Yeah.
And so I think that's taken a minute for me to wrap my head around too,
Yeah.
because of me trying to like, being a little bit more active and like working out more and trying to just be healthier version of me. My body, when I work out, I do bulk up. I do get thick because I have a very muscular build, right? So then also telling myself, like having to change the verbiage around the way I speak about my body.
Thank
So
you.
just making these leniencies, kindness with the way I speak to myself.
Grace.
And great. There you go. Yeah.
Grace. Yeah.
Myself with grace, because then my baby girl's hearing that.
Yes.
The other thing that was really huge for me is I went into my closet and I just got rid of all the sizes that don't fit me.
Yeah.
Because then I'm not going back into my closet every day and being disappointed.
And being beat up by inanimate objects is so cray.
I'm like, dude, you don't even have a mouth. What you yelling at me? Why are you talking so much smack?
You know what, Morgan? I'm gonna tell you something. So we're gonna do an episode I already have kind of scheduled for us where we talk about this in a few weeks, where we'll delve more into this, and this is kind of like the highlights of it. But one of the things I just want to drop right here is that women, especially in midlife, who have all of these other things stacked on them, plus all the stuff back there and the little bit of like uncertainty about where they're going, we don't have room. We do not have room for negative energy about what we look like in a mirror.
Oh.
We don't have room. There's no room. We have to do too many things. And when I tell you preaching to the choir, okay, banging down the door, all right, because I have lived it. I often live it. I mean, just because we're coaches doesn't mean that we're 100% healed or cured or that we don't have those bad body days. But what I have found is wearing the clothes that I love that fit me in whatever size. And any of my clients for the last 10 to 12 years will tell you, you don't like the size you are? You don't? Okay. So there's this amazing invention. I have to find out who made it. It's called a scissors. Okay. And so what you do is you go to all those clothes that fit really nice, you feel good, and you cut the size out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Novel concept. Now, who the heck cares? Meanwhile, I don't do anything like that. Someone asks me what size I am. I don't know, 16, 18, 20, depends on the day, depends on the brand. And I couldn't care less. I have smalls in my closet. I have extra, extra larges in my closet. And if it's fly, girlfriend's going to wear it. Period. That's it. And I think that giving ourselves that permission is so powerful because we're talking about how we present ourselves to the world, but then also how we present ourselves. And let's just not say girls for a second. Let's talk about the boys. Now, boys have bad body images too. We know that. But we're training from a young age a little boy how he's going to love a woman later.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, that right there is something else. Because how would you feel as a woman of whatever size to know that your son speaks rudely to his woman about her body?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some feel, well, she should be, well, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the other women.
Mm-hmm.
Because that right there would make me, I don't care how old he is, that side of the head, just one good one, okay? Because that's unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
It's unacceptable. And so I've taught my son from a very young, and I mean, he'll tell you from a young age, I didn't do everything right, Morgan, but I was very vocal about the things that hurt me as a child. Mm-hmm. That I wasn't going to allow. And of course, that included things like sexual assault and things like that. But even sexual harassment, even someone talking about your body in certain ways, no one has the right to do that. And I think I'm passionate about this as well, because the last vestige of anti-feminism to me is the fact that a woman's body is always on public display and can be talked about the way that it's talked about. The sad thing is, it's in media, it's on TV, it's in comedians' mouths or whatever, but it's also in our mouths talking about each other. So now, how do you want respect? How do you want to get to after? And yet you're talking about your sister next to you.
Mm-mm-mm.
Do I think I'm above that? No, I am not. Do I sometimes see something on the media or Instagram or whatever, and I'm like, oh my goodness, and I'll screenshot it? Literally, I used to do this years ago. I would see something that was crazy. This is out, everything's out. It's like, where's her dress or whatever? And I was sending it to my big sister, and I don't do it anymore. It's been a while since I've done that. And every once in a while, I'll catch myself and I'll take the screenshot and I'm like, remember, we don't do this anymore. This is bad energy. And I delete it. Because if I do that as a woman for another woman I don't even know, like, how can I be a coach and help women feel better about themselves when I can judge someone? It's low. It's low class, just being honest. And it also is the kind of thing that has a ripple effect. And so it's something I've worked on, but it's something I don't do anymore.
It's funny because I remember one day I was just being feisty, and we were driving downtown, and everybody knows interesting things happen downtown. Clothing is optional downtown. There's just like a whole bunch of interesting people. So we're driving, and I made some catty comment, and my daughter, she looks over at me, and
they catch you.
She looks over at me, and this one hit me hard. She goes, "Mom," she goes, "what if that's the only outfit she owns?"
I remember you told me this.
She goes, "what if that's all she has?" She goes, "do you remember when we only had one outfit?" She goes, "do you remember? For a long time," she goes, "we only had the one outfit to wear." She goes, "what if that's all she has? What if that's all she fits in? What if that's the only?" And I was like, dag. Like, oh, okay. And since that moment in time, I'm like, you actually listen to me. Like when I talk to the kids.
Honey, they are, remember the saying, more is caught than is taught. So we can't teach all these lessons. It's impossible. By the time of midlife, we've probably already ruined them. But you can get it in good for the grandkids. But it's like the truth of the matter is they catch it.
Yeah.
And that's why I say it's girls and boys, they catch it.
Yeah.
They catch the things we're not even trying to teach. They're busy catching it and we're not even realizing it. Oh, Morgan. So look, there's so much more to talk about this topic. This is a thing that it's a viral problem. To me, it's an epidemic problem of epidemic proportions, and it's multi-generational. Because as I mentioned, the book that I was reading specifically about all the weight loss drugs and some of the side effects and, how rampant are they? I like to know about, all the things that are kind of going around. So I read a lot. And one of the things that was bringing out was the history of like when bodies changed, the Christy Brinkley type body, different than the Twiggy type body, different than the Marilyn Monroe type body. And now today we're back to the Twiggy type body. And it makes Twiggy look, in the 60s with her thin body, it makes her look big or normal to what is being portrayed now. And so if we have daughters that are, actually, it doesn't matter if we have daughters, sometimes these are conversations we need to have. I think maybe we'll include some of this in the summer issue of Getting After, because I think that it is definitely a conversation to have, not just with our girls that are young, tweens, teens, but our girls who are maybe of college age or premarital age or married, because as they start to age up and their bodies change, who are they talking to about how they feel about those changes? We're having it in you in perimenopause, me in menopause, all those changes, and some of them you can control and sometimes you can't. But just like you were like, perimenopause, what's that, right? Our girls may not have that knowledge either, and we can share it with them.
Well, remember a couple of weeks ago when you took a moment for yourself and you went into the museum?
Yes.
And you sat and you just looked and you sat and sat and sat. And you sent me pictures of all these beautiful sculptures of the beautiful, beautiful sculptures of developed, beautiful bodies.
Yeah.
And then you that was the day you wrote that poem.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. That touched my heart so much. But when you said something to me that really caught my attention, because you're like, look at all of this, the idea of beauty.
Yeah.
This beautiful, voluptuous, woman that like
real women,
right? Women
living, who are doing stuff.
Right. And when you said that, right after that, one of my friend like collects money, like old bills. On the old currency was this beautiful, voluptuous woman. And they said to me, they're like, this is what a woman should look like. Right. And it made me start thinking, at what point did we start thinking that it was ugly to look voluptuous and feminine, and we needed to look more straight up and down like a man, masculine,
There's answers to that. There's answers to that for sure, and there was actual periods of time and reasons why. I don't know if we'll get into it here, but it was definitely periods of time, and then it kind of goes in and out. But it's unfortunate that the one thing that happens is that a lot of things that happen with our bodies in general, we can't control. We cannot control. When you're a teen going into your teenage years and you start to put on weight and get breasts, some people's are bigger than others, and they never get any smaller than that. It's just what it is. And then they're judged for that. Who can control the size of their boobs? Like, you can't really control that when you're a kid. They happen, right? And again, because I grew up in a family, a very voluptuous family. I'm not super voluptuous, but I grew up with a voluptuous women, grandmother, aunts, mom, that it didn't feel abnormal to me. It wasn't something to be judged good or bad. It was just find a bra that fits. And for me, even undergarments, I was raised in a household where clothes needed to fit. My dad was a tailor. My mom was a seamstress. Like, clothes fit. They're not too tight. They're not too big. They fit. And because I didn't like my body, that meant I wore oversized clothes. Now I still kind of like baggier clothes, but I need something in there that's that lets me know that I'm in there, because without that, you can lose sight of who you are. Now, I remember this book I read once where it was called, it was by a woman named Alexandra Stoddard. And she was very about like ultra homemaker, ultra beautiful house. And I was newly married and I was like, okay, I'm going to create this amazing, like I was so dumb, like this amazing household or whatever. And she would talk about things like how, now listen, this is old now. Okay. I didn't do most of it was in the book, but how you should present yourself when your husband comes home. Those were ideals. The man goes out to work, if the woman stays home, and you have his drink when he comes home, and you freshen yourself up, and you put your makeup and your hair on to make sure that when he comes home, you don't have a scarf on your head and you have heels on and all of that stuff. And you were supposed to cook dinner and all that with a little apron on. Are you so for real? But I remember in the book, it said one thing, and that was the reason why I put the book away. I still have it. I still have 2 of her books in my big book library, my big library. She said, women should never wear elastic waist anything because it gives you a false sense of security. You don't feel how large you're getting. And people still have that mentality. And I feel that if you're comfortable in your clothing and can look good, please wear whatever because if I see one more person in clothes, first of all, you have a button-down shirt now, it's so tight that I'm afraid that I have to keep my hand at the level of my eye because I'm afraid that when it pops out, that look, this one already has had a style for 6 months. I need both my eyes to work well. Okay. Now, when that button comes off as a projectile and then puts the other eye out, that's a problem. Okay. So I'm just saying, size up. Like get the right size bra. Like it's okay, and know your body composition. Stop hating on yourself. Stop it because it's not fair to you. You've got to take this thing you've got and you've got to go to work. You've got to be on the train. You've got to be, and it's so many things, Morgan, because I'm on these trains. I see so many people every day and I wish I didn't understand energy as well as I do, but I do. And I see people, I can feel their energy of feeling uncomfortable, especially a lot of larger women when they come on the train and the looks people give them and no one making space for a body is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? So this happened just a couple of days ago. A person came in, a larger person, and you could there were seats. No one was going to make room. And I kid you not, I will hug the wall. I'm already a big person. I took all my stuff and was holding my stuff. I had 2 bags, an umbrella, and hold my stuff. And I'm like, no, come, make room, because why not? And what if that's I don't know. I've been very passionate about this my entire life, but I don't even know how we got on the subject today. But
think about what
really
if that's
an important topic.
The only act of kindness that person has felt or seen in Lord knows how long. That one simple act of kindness could completely transform that person's mindset. You don't know what they were going to go home and do to themselves or what they just came out of. So you just being gentle. It's a chair. It's a
chair.
seat.
It's a seat. I don't own it.
Thank you.
It's just, I don't know, Morgan. It's something that I feel so, I don't know. I read a lot. I do a lot of research. And right now I'm reading probably 4 books on top of my Bible every single day. And one of them that I'm reading, and we talked about this, about trauma. And as I'm finishing up some of my trauma studies and what goes on in the brain when you've had a trauma as a child, no matter what the trauma is. It could be the smallest trauma. And I did have personally trauma around my body. And I didn't know it was trauma at the time, but I know it was trauma now. And I am unable to pretend I didn't have it now that I know. And so it has driven me to feel certain ways about people. It's driven me to accept things that other people, or not allow people to talk about people's bodies, whether it's thin or small. Because I think when you said when was it not normal for a person to have a voluptuous body, but even no matter what the style of the day was, there's always been big women, there's always been small women, there's always been really thin people, and there's always been bigger people. That's just it's DNA. Like it's just real. Like there's bigger people and smaller people. That's it.
There's
The
shorter
thing
people and
is,
taller people.
shorter people and taller people, right? I live in a house full of a lot of tall people, and I'm not, right? And they make fun of me and they say stuff, and I'm just like, come over here to this cabinet and let me borrow your tall. Get that wine from up there. Like I refuse to be judged because I'm not as tall, but I get it all the time when I'm with my family, even at worship, and they're all like this, and I come down and I hear about it all the time, and I don't know sometimes what people are after, but the
Mm,
joke is that do I look insecure because I'm not 6'6"?
mm,
Do I feel insecure because I'm not as tall as my daughter? And when we take pictures together, she's way taller than me. Um, let's see. The other week you said nope. And the full answer is absolutely not. So that's it. Like nope and absolutely not. I don't. But I will say it takes time. It
yeah.
takes time to get there. And things that happen in childhood stay with us. So when you're saying that as a child, you were considered heavier than those. I remember one time when we talked about hair, you were like, your hair did curly stuff, and they called you Medusa or whatever it was. And it's like that only they children don't come up with that. Children don't know who Medusa is.
Hmm.
They heard that at home. Some mother was picking up their straight haired, blue eyed child, saw your beautiful curly hair, and called it a name.
Mm,
Or it could have been a teacher.
mm,
I mean, this happens. And so then what do the children do? Listen to it, which is why
yeah.
moms have such a big job to do because we have to make sure that we don't allow every thought that we have here to come out of here because ears are listening. And it's not just little ears, although little ears are listening. It could be grandkids, it could be neighbors' children, it could be,
Mhm.
your children's friends, but also your older kids, because whatever wasn't said before, they're still hearing. Now they're pairing against what you have to say against what the media has to say. And I know
Mm.
you've talked about that with your kiddos.
Oh, quite a bit, because it's you have this mental, this idea of what you're supposed to be, and then you're looking outside at these all these other people, and then you look at the media in the grocery store when you're standing there checking out, and they force you to feel like you have to fit in this box. But I'm sorry, they don't even fit in this box. The person that's writing it doesn't fit. Like, who are you to tell me what I'm supposed to look like? Who are you to tell my child
It's
that she's
disgusting.
not enough? She's not enough, right? Or my son to feel like he's not enough. Even he, once again, pictures popped up on his phone, and he came and he was like, Mom, look at this. He's like, can you believe? He goes, you had a whole bunch of fat kids. And I said, honey, you're 11. You were about to have a huge growth spurt. I said, because you want to go back to that year? I was like, okay, let's go to the years, right? What's the next year look like? You grew three,
A
4 inches.
foot. Right. Yeah.
You had to. That's the way we are created.
Well, if not, you would have been wispy and blown away like a feather. So, but I think we don't have those conversations. And the more that I will never forget, I'm right now, I get books from the library and I'm
Mhm.
waiting for the book. They don't have it yet. I'm probably gonna have to just go buy it because I really want to read it. Um, I can't think of his name right now, but which is again, midlife, mental fog. He was Stephen Urkel,
Oh.
from Family Matters.
Mhm.
And so he has a book talking about all what happened with his body image because he grew really tall. He kind of wanted to stop that character, but was making so much money
Mhm.
that they weren't trying to let him go. So he had to wear these tight, horrible pants and he had to keep, and that's why they then made that extra character, Stefan, which was ridiculous because
Really? That's
okay,
why.
so that's why. Because he was sick and tired. He wanted to be somebody else. And they were like, no, we want you doing this character. And so then the show becomes ridiculous because he's drinking stuff and a potion and he becomes somebody else. And the show became what used to be a real show, like with real stuff that went on, became like this fantasy science fiction foolishness, all because you didn't want someone to grow up and stop wearing ultra tight pants and suspenders and high waters and whatever, and didn't want him to take on his yeah, baby, I
Wait,
gotta
wait, wait, wait. Do you realize how much that happens in life where
yes.
people don't want you to grow as a person? That just clicked differently with me. And because of the fact that they're comfortable with where you are at in your life, and the fact that you're ready to grow out of that and become somebody else, they're like, whoa, 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 this is benefiting me. Your old trauma, your old triggers, this is benefiting me. I can milk this. The money that they were making off of him being Urkel, I can make, like, this is working for me. We don't want you
So
to change.
we don't care about what you want.
We don't care what it's doing to you
Yeah.
psychologically, mentally, and emotionally. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that's why I know. See, this is how my brain works all day. So you're having an epiphany. I'm like, yeah, thanks for coming to my party. This is like my brain 24/7. I wake up with thoughts like that, like, wow,
Hmm.
I carry the one. I don't like that math. Like, this is how I live constantly. I feel so sad for my family because this is how my brain works. And when I see stuff like that,
Hmm.
it's not, it's something that's so hurtful to me because I lived through it. But when you're in the public eye, it's far worse. I'm not going to mention her name, but there is um, a personality that I've watched for a million years, and she is a stylist, and I love her. Love her. Watched her for me, my sister, man, big sissy, and I watched her for years. Rework women's wardrobes, help them to do makeovers and things like that. And it was actually from watching her as a teenager that I was like, I want to be a coach. I didn't have language for that. I didn't know
Hmm.
that it was coaching, but I
Yeah.
knew that I wanted women to feel better about their bodies because I had felt bad about mine. I wanted them to feel better about who they were, even though I didn't feel that way just yet. But I watched her on TV doing this, and I was like, if that's real, I want to do that. And I was always in the back of my mind, and it was 20 years later till I figured out how to do that, how to become that. But fast forward, she's probably close to 60 now.
Hmm.
And in the past, she would always talk about her clothes like this doesn't fit anymore. So then she would remake it into something that's beautiful designer clothing. But now she's thinner than when I watched her as a teenager. And now I can't, the whole content is different now.
Hmm.
We were talking about that the other day. Like, the content is different. It's like, well, what about now where you used to talk about how to fix the clothes, about how to make the clothes fit your changing body, or how to repurpose them, or whatever, reconstruct them? The conversation is totally different because she's fitting in things that she didn't wear for 25 years. And I'm just like, man, the audience is catching up. Like, it's no longer the same content even.
Hmm.
And I'm so sad because I miss watching the ingenuity of what she did, the way she remade things and things. And it's a small thing. Like, it's just recreation for me. It's entertainment. But the thing is that that's what's happening. What's happening in midlife is that the overall message is that you're changing, as in the change, and you're
Hmm.
no longer good as you were. You're
Hmm.
changing. You're going in your closet, as you said, and nothing fits. And so that's not just about clothes. It's about life.
It's
It feels like
everything.
it doesn't fit anymore, and it's not true. So let's jump into a tapping real quick, because if anyone is with us on this subject, if you felt any of these things, let's release a little bit of it. But let me tell you something. One of the things you want to do is definitely grab our spring magazine. It's out right now. It's free. All you got to do is sign up for it. Go to bit.ly/G2A-spring, because this particular issue goes into a lot of things, like how we start to feel invisible during midlife. How are we dealing with these triggers that come to us? And how can you breathe, ground, and tap in order to help release some of it? And then, of course, I always want to invite you that you can always work with us one-on-one. I mean, these conversations right here, these juicy conversations, this is what happens when you work with us, okay? This is what happens. This is us all day long when we work together. It's just really, really good. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of tapping, so that we can release some of these feelings. Sound good, Morgan?
Sounds great. Let's go.
Okay, Morgan, here we go. We're going to do this tapping. And this is really all about deserving to take up space, because a lot of times it's coming across that we don't as women, or it's coming across that we don't in our current bodies because the bodies are changing. And again, with tapping, with emotional freedom technique, or tapping transformation, which what Morgan and I do, it really is about thinking about the toxicity that might be taking up space in your head, and realizing that you can kind of bring that down. So we always think about the 0 to 10 scale. How how deep is it, or where are you feeling that resonating in your body at what level, that you don't deserve to take up space? That because maybe your body composition has changed, you feel that maybe you don't have the same worth that you used to have, and now you're chasing a dream or an ideal or a goal that you had a long time ago. So we're going to look to hopefully release some of that today. And we're going to start by tapping on the karate chop point, which is on the side of the hand right here. Okay, here we go. Even though I fear taking up space,
Even though I fear taking up space,
I choose to feel safe in my body now.
I choose to feel safe in my body now.
Even though I fear to take up space,
Even though I fear to take up space,
I know I should take up space,
I know I should take up space,
and I deserve to.
and I deserve to.
Even though I've compared myself to images,
Even though I've compared myself to images,
I've compared myself to ideals, and even to my past self,
I compare myself to ideals and even to my past self,
I'm choosing something different now.
and choosing something different now.
Even though the media may tell me I don't,
Even though the media may tell me I don't,
I choose to take up space
I choose to take up space
and enjoy the body I'm in.
and enjoy the body I'm in.
All right, take a deep cleansing breath in. Let it out. In this first round, we're going to be thinking about releasing judgment. Let's start at the eyebrow point. All this judgment I've carried in my skin.
All this judgment I've carried in my skin,
Side of eye. The pressure to shrink myself to be accepted.
and the pressure to shrink myself to be accepted,
Under eye. The shame that was passed down through generations.
the shame that was passed down through generations,
Through my school.
through my school,
From teachers.
from teachers,
From family members.
and from family members.
Under nose. The voice that says I'm only lovable if I change.
The voice that says I'm only lovable if I change.
Chin. This heavy feeling in my belly, my hips, and my arms.
This heavy feeling in my belly, my hips, and my arms,
Even if it's not real.
even if it's not real.
Collarbone. The way I've disconnected from my own body.
The way I've disconnected from my own body.
Underarm. The moments I believed I was too much.
The moments that I believed I was too much,
Too little.
too little,
Not enough.
not enough.
I let all those old beliefs go.
I let all those old beliefs go
Right now.
right now.
Take a deep cleansing breath. Let it out. Starting at the eyebrow point, I release the fear in my chest.
I release the fear in my chest.
Side of eye, I release the tension in my shoulders.
I release the tension in my shoulders.
I let go of fears stored in my thighs and stomach. I let go of fears stored in my thighs and stomach.
I let go of fear stored in my thighs and stomach.
Under nose, I am not here to disappear.
I am not here to disappear.
Chin, I am not here to be pleasing to everyone else.
I'm not here to be pleasing to everyone else.
Collarbone, I am here to fully live.
I am here to fully live.
Underarm, I release fear that says I should be smaller,
I release fear that says I should be smaller,
thicker,
thicker,
thinner,
thinner,
bigger,
bigger,
more voluptuous.
more voluptuous.
I release top of head. I release fear and replace it with love.
I release fear and replace it with love.
Take a deep breath in. Let it out. Let's do 2 more rounds. We're going to really see if we can release more here. Starting at the eyebrow point, this comparison in my mind and my mirror.
This comparison in my mind and my mirror.
Side of eye, the lies I've believed about worth and my weight.
The lies that I've believed about worth and my weight.
Under eye, the pressure to change who I am just to be seen.
The pressure
To change who I am just to be seen.
the pressure I feel to change just to be seen.
Let's try it again. The pressure to change
The pressure to change
who I am just to be seen.
who I am just to be seen.
It's a tough one. Keep tapping gently under your eye. Under nose. I don't owe the world a thinner version of me.
I don't owe the world a thinner version of me.
I don't owe the world a thicker version of me.
I don't owe the world a thicker version of me.
Chin. My worth has never been measured in pounds.
My worth has never been
Measured in pounds.
in pounds.
Let's try it again. My worth has never been measured in pounds.
My worth has never been measured in pounds.
Keep tapping gently on your chin. Collarbone. I deserve peace in my own skin.
I deserve peace in my own skin.
Underarm. I am letting go of needing to be anyone else but me.
I'm letting go of the need to be anyone but me.
Top of head. I'm allowed to be exactly who I am right now.
I'm allowed to be exactly who I am right now.
Beautiful. Let's try one more. I'm learning to speak kindly to myself.
I'm learning to speak kindly to myself.
Side of eye. I'm discovering new ways to honor my changing body.
I'm discovering new ways to honor my changing body.
Under eye. My body is not broken. It's wise.
My body's not broken. It's very wise.
Under nose. It's been through so much and it still carries me.
It's been through so much and it still carries me.
Through my children.
Through my children.
Through my illnesses.
Through my illnesses.
Through abuse.
Through abuse.
Through love.
Through love.
Through people who have left me.
Through people who have left me.
I am still here.
I am still here.
Chin. I want my children to see a whole loved woman.
I want my children to see a whole loved woman.
Collarbone. I want to model joy, not just survival.
I want to model joy and not just survival.
Underarm. This body I have has value.
And this body I have has value.
Just as it is.
Just as it is.
Top of head. I claim my space.
I claim my space.
With softness and strength.
With softness and strength.
I deserve to take up space.
I deserve to take up space.
I am allowed to love my body.
I'm allowed to love my body.
Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Let's anchor this in with an affirmation. Just repeat after me, either in your mind or out loud. I deserve to take up space.
I deserve to take up space.
I'm allowed to love my body.
I'm allowed to love my body.
Every curve, every line.
Every curve and every line.
Every change, every year.
Every change and every year.
Every wrinkle.
Every wrinkle.
Every gray hair.
Every gray hair.
Every single part of me I deserve to love.
Every single part of me I deserve to love.
I am present in this body in this moment.
I am present in this body in this moment.
And I am worthy.
And I am worthy.
Take a deep breath.
You know, it always amazes me. You get me every time, Tone.
No. I don't get you, baby. I don't get you. No. Don't blame me now.
No, I mean, I love how
it's so good.
EFT is. I love that the incorporation of using the pressure points on our body and the verbiage and then hearing it from you and then hearing myself say it reiterates it and then puts it in deeper into our nervous system. I just love what it does. Like you instantly
it goes deeper than what you think. And if we were to turn around and you would, I'm in the moment. If you were to turn around, I'm still releasing, I'm like belching and I'm chills, I'm cold, I'm hot, if we were to turn around and you were to lead, I'd be crying.
Mm.
If any woman would do this, there's a part of her that knows that this is part of her experience and we need to release it and let it go. because there's more important things on this earth than worrying about the width or not width of our thighs or our breasts or whatever. There's other things. And we're not talking about health. So if you want to come for me, go somewhere else. We're not talking about your health, because you can be healthy, very, very thin, or you can be extremely unhealthy in a very small body. We're talking about what's going on up here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's way more expansive than the size of your circumference of your waist. It really is about the size and circumference of your feelings and your heart for you. And if you can't get a handle on that by midlife, it's time to get started. Listen, please do tune into us next week when we come on back with some more amazing topics, tapping, grounding. Morgan and I love being with you every Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern. If you'd like to meet with us privately, then go ahead and get a session. Go to bit.ly/tap-chat. You can get one or both of us together. And we love doing this work because it really does change you as a woman and also who you are as a mom, as a wife, and in your community.
And I just want to give a shout out to everybody that keeps doing the replays and that has been sharing us with everybody else, because the comments that we're receiving, even like privately, it really touches my heart a lot. And I'm so grateful for you guys taking that quick second just to even do that, because it lets us know that we're resonating with you and that what we're doing is worth it. So thank you.
Yes.
We love you guys.
All right, Morgie, it's time to go. Y'all not gonna call her Morgie. Okay, that's a private name. You cannot call her that. We're out. Mwah. I am Chatone Mars and Princess Positivity. That is Morgan Bustos. And I hope that this episode hits you as deeply as it hit us. We'll see you next time. But until we do, be authentic, be brilliant, and be the catalyst, y'all. Bye.
Bye.